The closest to Rexburg from, like roots are here, not that you lived here because you went to school here. You're from?
Oh, from Texas.
No, I think closest. Raised here.
Anybody raised in Idaho?
Okay.
Anybody in Idaho?
Nobody.
No one. So give me a close state.
Nevada.
Nevada.
Close enough.
Anybody else?
California.
California?
Two of those, okay.
Wow.
All those touches I know.
No Wyoming Cowboys?
From Utah.
Oh, you're from Utah? Where in Utah?
Bountiful.
How many Utah people?
Oh.
Can you believe this? So would you say you're most those who are U.S. East States or what?
East Coast, raise your
East
hand.
Coast.
Nobody.
I am from this coast.
Yeah, Jersey. Yeah, Peru too. Once you gotta give them. Okay, good. Anybody? Really? Awesome. Oh, that's cool. It's good diversity. Because I think what used to be that BYU Idaho was made up of like 30% Idahoans and 20%, no, 25% Utahns, and then Washington and Oregon and Arizona. So that shows how things have changed on this campus a little bit. So
Where are you originally from?
Zion,
Oh,
Fremont in Utah,
gotcha.
big city.
Oh, yeah.
Salt Lake's a suburb.
Yep.
Yeah, when I was there, 3,000 people, 3,500 maybe. So you've probably all been there.
Passed them before.
Yeah, you drive right by. Now you can go, that's where Brother Holt lives, right there.
Is that the big black bowls from it's in Tremont on the freeway next to the freeway? Every time I pass it.
Oh no, that's almost a Brigham. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It's so random.
Oh, that big black pool? Oh, yeah, that's right, I know what you're talking about,
Yeah.
that's right.
It's like a
Off
something
the side of
ranch
the
or
road,
something.
yeah, some ranch, yeah, Angus Ranch or whatever.
See, how many are married? Wow. So marrieds? How many? No, I won't ask that question. How many want to be?
Don't ask how many don't want to be
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Oh, I didn't dare. That's why I didn't dare ask. So you might not raise your hand.
Hey, Dylan, here's Arlie's pen.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks.
Dylan, you need another. I have one.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So,
Who still needs these? Did everyone at the table get a copy?
Oh, yeah, I need to.
Here. You guys go.
so I want to know while we're waiting. Who do you think's the furthest from Rexburg?
China.
China's pretty close.
That's pretty.
Taiwan's pretty close. I don't know how that works. China, Taiwan,
It
Peru.
depends on
Not
which
bad.
direction you go. If you go the other direction, I might be the furthest, right?
Where are you from?
Reno.
Oh God. Okay, let's go on. Oh, I don't know where he disappeared to.
That's right.
I think I still got it.
On the same point as the ability.
Alright, well I guess we will keep going. So, okay, so before we get into the timeline and some of this more nitty gritty stuff, let's talk about ACEC. So you guys should have all been on there and I hope that you updated your pictures, but if you haven't, make sure that you do that. So, I'm just gonna do like a really quick walkthrough here. So I added you guys to this internship project, which is once you get your project assignments, you'll have your actual project in here. And so you would come into your project, it's loading. Oh, this is fun, slow internet. Sometimes the internet here can be pretty slow.
Maybe have some people scoot back a little bit so
Yeah.
that everyone can see the screen.
Okay. There we go. Okay, so you come in and this is the front page, which is just like a summary of the things that have been done. So when you come in here, there's stuff in here that we don't really use, but you can use if it works for you, like the outline, milestones and tasks. Like you can go in and set tasks, and you can create milestones. So such and such gets finished by this time. We don't really make use of those features in general, but you guys are in charge of your own projects, so you can figure out what works for you and what doesn't. What you definitely will be using is, this is the milestones page. So if you wanted to create a milestone, you just do new milestone. I'm not gonna do it, it's too slow. Okay.
We hope that the internet will be better, and we're switching internet providers, and it's just taking a little while, but
Okay.
hopefully we'll double our speed. But
So you will be using discussion. So you should have all gotten an email from me, and it showed that I updated the discussions. So if you want to create a new discussion, you just click in here. If you want to go into one that already exists, you go here. And then you can also add files. So as you guys, you're going to be writing up a final deliverable, which is essentially a research paper, which keeps track of all your methodologies, everything that you've done, your analysis, et cetera, et cetera. So as you're creating drafts of that, you can upload that here into your files for your project. And you can also create notebooks, which is essentially just, you could go into here and you can add things into the notebook rather than just into the files. So once again, play around, see what works the best for you. And I mean, that's the brief rundown. Another thing you're going to use a lot is this documents tab. This is for all the documents that are on ACEC, not just for your internship. So we've got agendas for your consultations that you have with your clients. We have examples of final presentations and things like that. There's just a lot of helpful things in here for you guys, tips and instructions and templates. So you find all that here down this side on the documents tab. Okay, so I want to know if you guys have specific questions that I can answer for you now about ACEC. Yeah.
So just to clarify, so when we are put into a project,
Mhm.
when we go in and use these features in that project, it'll just be for the team members that are part of that?
Yes, exactly.
And then the milestones feature,
Mm-hmm.
so is that like if you have like a task you want done by a certain time, like in a time frame, you can kind of put it in there and it'll
Yeah.
track the progress of it?
Exactly.
And then, I don't know, last semester we divided the projects into, we had our own individual project that we would mark our time in.
Mm-hmm.
Are we gonna do the same thing, or are we gonna?
Yeah. So that's something I can show you guys really quickly. So when you're in your project, and make sure you're in the right project, you guys are going to keep track of your own time in ACEC. So you'll go up here on time and expenses, and then you just hit log time. You're not going to have expenses, so it's just for time. And then let's say 1 hour for a client meeting. But there's others, there's administrative, there's all these different things, and it helps us if you guys do pick the right categories so that we can keep track of how much time is getting spent on what things. And then you just write a really short little thing here, like first consultation. And then you would log it, and it goes in, and then you can see it here. It'll do, so if everyone's logging their time, you're gonna see everyone's time here. And then you can go to show timesheet, and you can see it this way too. And just my best advice for you is to do this every single day. Don't wait and try to do it for the entire week, because you're not gonna remember what you did. You're not gonna remember when you did it. So just keep on. It's so much easier if you just keep on top of it.
So for today, like a training, I saw there was a training category.
Yeah, so you guys, you should put in your time for training. So you would come back in here, log time, so training, and then you would put, 2.5 hours. And then you would just write training. You don't have to write anything specific in here. And then at the end of your internship, if you need your total hours, you can get that from me. So it just helps to have it all in here. Any questions about that? Makes sense. Okay, any other ACEC questions? You guys feel fairly comfortable with it? Yeah.
So just for the time for the training, should we just put it in this project or?
Yes. Yeah. And there will be other stuff. So this internship project, it's going to exist all semester long because it's how I can contact you all at once. So, and there will be certain things we do where you would want to track your time in here. So just keep that in mind. Okay, any other questions? I'm going to move on. Okay, then we're going to move on. I believe in you guys. You can figure it out. You are smart, I hope. Okay. So now we're going to get into the timeline, which is this paper. So, okay. Now this is going to be your best friend this semester. I cannot stress enough, follow this, follow this, follow this, follow this. So, this week obviously is training. You're going to be here. And by the end of this week, you're going to have your project assignments and you're going to start drafting your research plan. And if you need to do a questionnaire as part of that, you would also draft that. And then next week is going to be a review of that plan that you're drafting with us. And we're just going to make, just give you advice and tips on how it's looking. And by the end of week 2, you want to have a pretty good idea of what your research plan is going to look like. You're also going to be contacting clients for the first time. And then week 3, and then you can see at the top, client phone call. So that's going to happen in week 2. And then the first consultation should happen in week 3. So then the conference call would be to set up the consultation. So week 3, you're going to be meeting with your client, and that's when you can smooth out all the bumps in your research plan, but you want to have it ready to go at that time. And that's when you want to start your research too, is week 3. So it gets going pretty quick. And week 4, you're going to continue research. Week 5, continue research. Week 6, continue research. And then by week 7, you want to be just about done collecting your research. And also during that time, in week 4, the outline of your final deliverable, which is the paper, and then also the PowerPoint presentation is going to be due. And it's just a pretty rough outline. You don't have to have like all the information yet. And you're also going to be having meetings with your mentors, with whoever your project manager is, which may be me, it may be somebody else. And then week 7, when your research is supposed to be mostly done, that's also when your methodologies are due. And you'll already know your methodologies because you'll have been doing them for the last several weeks. So then week 8 is when you should be analyzing all of the data that you've collected. And we'll also have a bring your day-to-day here so that we can help you with your analysis and just give you any advice that we have. And then week 9 is when you want to have your PowerPoint presentation done. It doesn't have to be clean, it just has to have all the information in it so that we can have a practice with you and give you advice, and then you can refine it for the next one. So then week 10 is when you would do like more practicing with us. This time phrase is a lot of practicing. And then in week 11 is when your deliverable is due, so your final paper. And so that we can edit it for you, because we have to have some time to get it back to you so we can do some rounds of editing. And then week 12 is when it's like the final due date for the paper. And another practice presentation. And then the last week is when you present to your clients. So the goal is to be done with pretty much everything by week 10. So that if you needed to present to your client at that time, you could. So, how do you guys feel about this? Questions about this? Yeah.
So every week we have a schedule. If we have any question like about like things that happen ahead of schedule, can we ask at any time we want?
Yeah, absolutely. We're here to help you guys, so just come anytime. Yeah, Josh.
So how does this affect us working with
So you guys are not working with
We're
the
not,
ALPS.
okay.
No. You guys and the ALPS are separate. So we have J's and research associates, and you guys will be in teams. And then the ALPS are all in their own teams separate from you guys.
How many teams are there?
You know what? I don't know. Will is creating all of your project assignments, and that will determine how many teams there are going to be. And we'll have that for you guys on Thursday.
So when it says PowerPoint due Monday, that means that we should be working on the PowerPoint the previous week.
Right.
So it's good to be a little bit ahead
Yes.
of what this is kind of saying for the week.
Right. Because all of you guys in your teams, you have the research associates, the junior analysts, and then a project manager, which is me for some of you guys, and it'll be a couple of different people for certain other projects. So you're going to be checking in with me, and it's like I need to get your presentations, papers, ahead of time so that I can check them, help you, give you advice. So it is good to be ahead of schedule. In these weeks where things are due to your project manager, they're due that day. In the weeks where it's like meetings, we're going to schedule those. So you can choose the day and the time.
Question. So we don't have to come to here.
No, you don't have to come here every day.
But you can choose because there's an office.
But there is the office back there, and you're welcome to come here every day. Yeah. More? Okay, so this is I'll talk a little bit about my experience. So with my project, I tried so hard to follow this, and I was so grateful that I did, because you will feel like a chicken with your head cut off at the end of this if you have not followed this timeline. And it can be hard at times to follow this to the letter, just because certain things take longer than a week to put together. Sometimes your client will delay you. Sometimes they won't meet with you when you want to meet, et cetera, et cetera. So not everything is always going to be in your control, but do your best to follow this, because you will be so grateful. And at the end of the semester, everybody always says, I wish that I had followed this more. My other advice to you, and you might want to write it in on your timeline, is that when your methodology is due in week 7, also do as much of your appendix as you can. Because if you have a survey, for example, the survey's already written, and so it would be really easy just to put that into your paper at that time instead of waiting until the end. So just things like that. Get as much of your appendix, bibliography, all that stuff done ahead of time as you can. And we're going to talk a lot more about the final deliverables a different day in training this week. So don't feel like too stressed about it, because we're going to get into it. And tonight, you guys kind of have homework. Sorry about it. But we filmed a final consultation, and you guys are going to watch that tonight so you can get an idea of what all your work is leading up to. So you'll probably have more questions after that. Perfect. We're going to talk about it tomorrow. Okay, anything else on the timeline before we move on? Okay, so a couple other things that relate. So every single week you're going to be having a team meeting. So you don't know your teams yet, but you'll be meeting with them every single week. You guys determine that time on your own. There's also going to be a weekly workshop here with all of you guys, and we're going to do some figuring out to see what time, maybe 2 times we're going to do for that. And in the weekly workshops, we just help each other out. Sometimes we'll do groups where you guys ask each other for help on certain things. Sometimes we'll have people come in and talk to you about particular things. So it's just helpful for you guys to come to those. Then the other thing you guys are going to be doing every single week is a weekly review. And it's basically, an evaluation of sorts. Every week you're going to be setting goals for your team and for yourself. And so what these weekly reviews will be is you evaluating how well you did on accomplishing those goals. And we'll be emailing you the link for those every week. So don't have to worry too much about finding them, because we'll get them to you. And then the other thing is that you always want to be updating your final deliverable paper as much as you can, just because it will save you so much time if you do that, instead of waiting till the end to write every single thing. Yeah.
Can I just add a comment? I had spoken with a previous junior analyst who did 2 semesters here, or he only did 1 semester. He did the 2 projects. I'm sorry, but he said that the most important thing that he wished he had did was start that paper at the beginning instead of waiting. He said that was by far the most important thing that he saw would have made his life tons easier.
Yeah.
So just a comment I wanted to add.
Thank you. It's true. I'm not lying. See? Okay, so then every single day you want to check ACEC and you want to update your hours. Any questions on that? Okay, so we did our break early, so sorry to trick you guys. So the weekly reviews, let's look at those. So we are changing the way that we do these reviews, so I don't have it like ready to show you right now because we're working on it this week. But it's going to be something that we email to you. You'll follow the link and you just go through it. So let's see. Okay, my link doesn't work, so I will email you guys the rubric to look over. It's basically just that you get points for points. We're gonna ask you if you attended your weekly meeting. We're gonna ask you if you were on ACEC. We're gonna ask you what were your goals? Did you accomplish your goals? Rate your performance. Did you meet your goals or did you exceed your goals? And the way to get the best score, I'm saying score because it's like you're not necessarily getting graded on this, but is to exceed your goals, to do more than what you said you wanted to do. But I'll email it to you guys so you can just see it, the breakdown. And okay, so how many of you already are using Google Calendar? Oh, good. That is so great. Okay, so for those of you who don't have a Google Calendar yet, let's see something. So you need to have a Gmail email address. So if you don't have one of those, you're going to need to get one. And then after you have a Gmail address, you can create a calendar. And we have an internship calendar. And this is going to be really good for you. It shows up here on the top, it shows right now we're doing training, but it coordinates with the timeline. So this is strategy review. This is strategy review, blah, blah, blah. So you can also keep track of it that way. And then, okay. So what you'll do if you haven't already is you want to add the internship calendar. I don't know if you guys can do that. I will add you guys to the internship calendar. So if you don't have a Gmail address yet, you need to get one and then you need to let me know what it is. And if I only have your school email address, then send me your Gmail. So how about we'll just do that. I'll create a discussion on ACEC asking for Gmail addresses and then you guys can just add them in. And then what you do is you just go in and you can do quick add. If you do create here, then you can go in. And then just make sure that, because you're going to have a personal calendar and then you're also going to have access to the internship calendar. And you just need to make sure that you're adding things to the right calendar. So don't add your doctor's appointments to the internship calendar. Your team meetings also don't need to be on the internship calendar. The internship calendar is for consultations because we only have the 3 rooms for consultations. So I can't have 5 of you schedule your consultation at the same time. So that's what should be going on the internship calendar. And if you accidentally put something that's not supposed to be there, we'll let you know. So any questions about Google Calendar? It's pretty user friendly. It's not too hard to figure out. You guys feel good? Okay. You guys are so smart.
Question. So the only thing that was supposed to go on the internship calendar is the reservation for the council room.
So when you schedule your consultations with your client, you don't necessarily have to reserve this room. It's almost just that by only having 1 or 2 consultations at the same time, we know that we'll have enough rooms. Also, in your consultations, your project manager is probably going to want to be there, which may be me, so I need to know. And Will can't attend 5 consultations at once either, and he wants to be there. So it's just kind of making sure we're not overbooking the RBDC. Okay, so that was all that I have for you today. And Josh was gonna come talk about expectations, but since they're not here, Jack, do you wanna talk a little bit about kind of what we expect? I can say a couple of things.
Go ahead.
Okay, so Will's not here. Normally Will would talk about this, but a lot of the clients that you're working with are personal contacts of Will's. And so obviously he wants you to treat them really well. And like we said, also they're paying for these projects, which means that they deserve your hard work and they deserve results because they're paying for them. So we expect that you stay here and work and honor your commitments. And we're here to help you. We obviously want you to succeed. That's the point of the RBDC, is these faculty mentored student projects. So yeah, just do your work. I'm sure that you guys are all great people and understand that. And I just know that when I came in as an intern, I was a little bit intimidated by the fact that these were paid projects. But I promise you that you could do really well. As long as you stick to the timeline, you put the hours in, put the work in, you're gonna do well. But we have had interns here who don't follow the timeline. They stop coming to their meetings. They're not prepared for the consultation at the end, and either their teammates or one of us has to step in to try and like save a project. And we don't want to be in that situation. We don't want you guys to be in that situation. So I think that's all I have for that. You want to add anything, Jack? Okay. So for tomorrow, like I said, you guys have a little bit of homework, and I'm gonna add it to a discussion on ACEC. So you'll get an email update when I do that. But you're gonna have a video to watch of the final consultation, and that is gonna be probably about an hour long. So just be prepared for that. And also for tomorrow, you need to take this little personality quiz, and I'm gonna email you the link to that. And just remember you're gonna get a direction, north, south, east, west. Just remember what direction you are, because it's for an activity tomorrow. And I think that's it. Can I look at do you have the other one? Yeah. And then if you didn't already create your Google Calendar, make sure that you do that. And I will create the other discussion for Gmail addresses so I can invite you to the internship calendar. And yeah, that's it for tomorrow. So thanks for coming. Yeah.
I do have a question now.
Mhm.
I was wondering, I know Friday is tentative. What does that depend upon?
It just depends on if we get through this material or not.
Okay.
Right now, I would say we're probably not going to meet on Friday. So, but we still have it like tentatively scheduled. Yeah.
So when we got our project assigned, will we also be in the team that's
Mhm.
being assigned, or we choose by ourselves?
No, you're going to be assigned. Because we're doing it based on your interest, kind of in that survey that we sent you, is part of how we determine that. So that's why we don't have you choose yourselves.
I have two questions.
Okay.
The first one regarding the W-9
Mhm.
for the section 2, the business name. Is that RBDC, Research Business Development Center, or do we leave that blank for when we actually know who we are?
No, it's the Research Business Development Center. It's not your client.
And then my second question was, in regards to the expectations that we were talking about, we all signed that thing saying the 9 credit limit. We'd all agreed to only take 9 credits. Just in your experience, and we kind of have an idea of the meetings that we're asked to attend, expected to attend throughout the week. How does 9 credits fare with this internship, just in your experience?
So, let me think. I was working on my projects anywhere from 20 to 35 hours a week. And it depends on the week, like your workload and stuff, but I don't know. I wasn't taking classes when I did my internship. This was all I was doing, and it felt like a lot to do. And last semester, there were kids who were doing school and the internship, and it's a lot of work, but if you can balance it, you can do it. So.
Just to follow up, is that for junior research or for junior internship or research associate?
So that was for a junior analyst. As a junior analyst, you're probably going to be working about 15 hours per week per project. As a research associate, I think it's going to be more like 10 hours per week per project.
It's roughly that. That's what I was last semester.
Yeah, Josh was here.
But towards the end, it gets to, because you're kind of putting everything in and making sure everything's finalized, it gets to be 30, 40 hours a week.
Yeah. So that's why we really want you to follow the timeline so that it's always going to be a little bit like that, but it doesn't have to be like some people are working 80 hours that last week. And if you have finals in school, that's not going to work. So that's why we really want you to follow this.
I guess that kind of answered my question. It's just like the hours are kind of just like a guideline, or is there rules on the hours, or?
No, the hours are more of a guideline,
Okay.
but if we are checking in with your project and you are not where you should be, and then we look at your hours and we see you're working 5 hours a week, we're going to talk to you about that, if that makes sense.
So for the school requirement for the internship, that's, I don't know how many hours, 120?
Yeah, that's true. So for the full credit, I think it's 220 hours.
Yeah, I think what it boils down to, like in business management internship, I think it's like 270 for the semester. So if you do about 30 a week, so if you're the junior analyst, the team lead, you do about 30 a week, you'll get your hours for an internship.
Over the financial economics, I'm not.
It might be a little less, isn't it? I think it's a little less than 270. It's pretty close to 270.
When I did mine, it was 220. That was in political science,
Political
so
science, yeah.
you probably want to check.
Lots of
with
financial
your
econ guys
college.
do it, and I do think it's a little less than 270, but it's not much less.
Right, but I'm a research associate, how can I?
Yeah, so that's only 10 a week usually, and that's usually not enough for an internship, but I think if you talk with Will, you can put in the extra hours to do it if you want to. Does that make sense? Most people doing RA, research associate, 10 hours a week, aren't getting that full internship credit because they don't want to work that much. If you do, just talk to Will,
Okay,
and you can kind of work it out.
sounds good.
That's all right, you were an RA last semester. Sorry,
Josh.
Josh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did like 10 hours a week, and yeah, and it wouldn't count as an internship, right? That's not enough.
Right.
Whereas the junior analysts, they're doing it, they want that internship, and they're getting the 30 hours a week.
Can it count for your small, like if you're in business, you can
Yeah,
take
the
2
298, you
internships,
bet.
yeah, it's the
You
smaller
bet. Yep, it's
internship.
definitely a 298, yeah.
That's why I'm doing.
Yeah, that's a 298, sorry, I forgot about that, that is a 298.
It varies per major too. Like for my communications, it's only 120.
Yeah, it's.
I would check in with your
it's-
college if
yeah.
you're concerned, and then as
Yeah,
you're putting
definitely
in your
get it set
hours,
up.
keep that in mind too, that it's not just for getting the project done, it's also for credits, and you have to meet a certain hour.
Yeah. And then there's
So-
certain reporting requirements too, so you wanna let us know, hey, this is my 298, we'll make sure we do the reporting requirements. Now, this is my 398, my big internship, okay, we'll make sure we do it. Yeah, and it's been used for both, it's just make sure we know.
Yeah. More questions?
Can I take a few minutes?
Yeah,
I'm
of
kinda a
course.
little early, is that okay?
Yeah,
Can I
go
kind of do what I'm gonna do on Wednesday, and then we'll just make it shorter? Is that okay? No, maybe
You
10.
wanna do your Wednesday thing now?
No, just a little bit, like 10 minutes, is that okay?
Yeah, that's totally fine.
Maybe just a couple of things that might clarify, just kind of the role. So I think I want to do a role play. So maybe Haley, maybe I'll borrow you, if that's okay. So you be the client? Hold it up. Let's do a role play. Who's the J? Raise your hand if you're a junior analyst. The big corner, come on up, what's your name? Dylan?
Me?
Yeah, come on
go.
up. Come sit right here. You're the junior analyst.
Okay.
Here, I'll unplug this just in case. Let's do the role play so it sort of makes you feel better about it. You're a junior analyst, who's a research associate, raise your hand. Smaller 10-hour-a-week guys. You too, you'll be his team. Scoot on over, right by him. You're there. I did share. No, stay there, Jeremy. I'll just stay there. So this is the first kind of client consultation. Like you've seen Haley, she did a great job walking through the schedule. First consultation's coming up in like 3 weeks. You're gonna do a phone call next week where you kind of talk to the client, hey, we're gonna write up our proposal. And the first consultation is where you agree what you're gonna do. And that client's paying bucks. I mean, they're paying money. So you're gonna say, well, here's what we're gonna do. And we've already talked all about it. Say Haley's a project manager, she's got it all figured out. Say I'm the mentor, which is just a professor, one of the professors kind of helping out. So we'll let Haley go be the client. So you are the junior analyst, you're the team lead. You're the team members, the research associates, okay. I'm me. I'm Jack Fuller. I'm the mentor. Right? So I need a chair. Jeremy, can I kick you in a chair, please? Jeremy's a TA for my class, so he's like totally used to be bossing right now. So, okay, so here we are. We're all ready. We have an agenda or whatever. Shall we role play it? Should we just wing it? Okay, can you step out, Haley, for a second, and then here's Haley coming in. So, you ready? Let's do it. Go.
Howdy. Am I coming in or are we calling?
No, you coming in.
How are you?
Good.
I'm Dylan.
Haley, nice
I'm
to
the
meet
junior
you.
analyst. I'm Jake.
Nice to meet you.
Leo.
Nice to meet you, Leo.
Well, and this is Jack Fuller. He's our mentor, our project manager.
They're not even intimidated. Can you believe that? Okay, sit back down. Look, he's like totally holding his ground. But think about it. Sit down for a second. How come this punk is going to talk in that meeting? I have gray hair. Why did this guy jump in and say, hi, client who's paying $3,500, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I look official. I got a tie. I'm gray hair. I'm old. Why am I not leading this meeting? You did it perfectly right. You can just sort of say, yeah, it's Jack, just ignore the guy. Why? Tell me, why? Why is he in charge?
Because he's the one leading the team.
He's doing all the work?
He's the one leading the team. He's the one that guided.
Only there. These guys are doing the work. Am I doing the work? No. Believe me, no. No, triple no. No. Good, what else? Why? Why is he taking the lead?
I think it's because we know our project, but you are like a mentor, you have many.
Yeah, I'm kind of just fluffy over it. I don't. You guys are getting your hands all dirty and nasty in there, kind of working it all out. But wait a minute. Doesn't that client like want me? How can they pay you? That she could have got $20,000 for that project that she did. How can they pay you? I'm gonna call you punks. That's not very nice. You like haven't even got a college degree yet, people. You high school graduates. I'm really making you feel bad. How come that client walks in and you are totally confident saying, look, it's us. And I'm thinking, I'm an old guy. I can charge. I was a lawyer. I can charge like $500 an hour. I brag on it if I can do that anymore. So how come these guys can charge that client? That makes sense. Why isn't it me saying, well, I can charge the client $20,000, not you? How can a bunch of high school graduates don't yet have their degree charge money to that people? What's your thoughts? How do you get away with that?
I mean, a lot of it is that's the agreement and part of, I think, what your first meeting is.
Why did that client agree to that? Why did the client agree to let these guys do it and not me? I'm in the room. I'm smart. I can probably do it.
Because you charge more.
Boy, actually, good point. Yeah. Well, what else?
I'm sure part of it is the credibility that the RBDC has. So that trust.
Josh and Haley and Rob, they come up with it. I agree. They say, look, I'll pay, but doesn't he get a little shocked? Like the gray guy, he's nobody. You just take over and talk. And I'm like, yeah. They're probably a little shocked. Wait a minute. These are the guys I'm paying $1,000 to? Other thoughts? How do you get away with this?
I think maybe the first initial thought may be, yeah, these guys, they don't have college degrees. What are they going to be able to provide me? But I think very quickly, like what people said, the reputation of RBDC, the agreement that they have, they'll recognize that we actually probably have a lot more to lose in terms of, relationship building.
I think there's something to that, guys. I think there's something to. I don't have the right answer to this. I really am just picking your brain fresh each semester. I like to answer this question. I think there's something to that old guy, and he's going to give me his old state answers. He thinks he's so smart, blah, 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 blah. These guys are hungry. They're like, learn this. They're excited. So I used to own an apartment complex in Provo. It's kind of dangerous to say. I was a slumlord for students. That's really bad. My family owned it. And before I ever thought I'd be a college professor or teacher or whatever, I made up statements about students that always weren't quite positive, to be honest. But I made money off students, a lot of money. It's a big apartment complex, full city block, 800 students, 150 units. But one of the things I used to say to my wife was, you know what? And I see if you can catch this phrase. Students have a ton of time to pursue a tiny amount of money. Does that make sense? Because you guys are poor, you're dirt poor. But you have like this energy, and here I am kind of running this complex, and I'd be like, you would spend just all this energy to get $5 back. I used to say to my wife, it floors me that these students just spend tons of energy. And then I stopped her and I said, you know what though? That means that student mentality, they have a ton of time to pursue a little tiny cure of cancer. They have a ton of time to try and cure a little bit of poverty. You are loved for that. I told my wife, thank our Heavenly Father for students. Because I'm past that stage. I'm so old, I only want to do really productive things. You guys get in, and you dig, and you like get passionate about it. And there's clients that get excited about that. Look at me, and they say, that guy's kind of old, and Josh is kind of old and gray. You guys will just jump in. I think there's something to that. Josh, what else?
I was just gonna add,
Yeah.
I use the IBC.
Yeah.
So the IBC comes in, they'll do a
You
free
know what
thing.
IBC is, guys? So it's
Integrated
business
Business
on
Core,
campus.
the small businesses on campus, right?
Yeah.
So they'll come into the crossroads and
Yeah.
they'll set up within the crossroads, right? And they'll do something and they'll just boom, boom, boom.
They're
And then,
passionate.
then the
You guys are
food
passionate.
service
It's
people
cool.
will take it over and
Yeah.
never. It's just a difference. There is an attitude.
You understand that? So wear it with pride. And think, man, Jackie's kind of lazy and old and thinks he's all smart. We're hungry. We're running. What else? Any other thoughts? I'm not looking for right or wrong answers. I'm looking for thoughts. Why does that client lay down thousands of dollars to have these guys do it, not me? Yeah.
Well, I took a few classes on campus where we used a bunch of resources from the library.
Yeah.
And I know in the real world
I'm
you have to
there.
pay a lot of money. for
I'm
those.
there. They do. And we sell it. Josh sells it, and I sell it too. I say, look, you got to tap into DOE Idaho and all its resources. I'm like, yeah. I'm pretty excited. What else? So you need to be aware of these and use them and capitalize on it. And, yeah, what else? Go ahead.
Well, I know, and this may not always be the case, but a lot of professionals that I meet and like business owners, they really do want to give back and like help other
I
people
think
get
there is some of that.
opportunities. And this
I
is a
think-
great chance for them to do that. So.
You're going to see every now and then get kind of excited. They'll say things like, did you guys learn something from this? And they kind of excited that, you know what, not only did I get something valuable, it's kind of fun. I'm helping train these guys. There's definitely a truth to that. Other thoughts? Why do you do it? Yeah.
I think it's because we want to be here. You know, we wouldn't be sitting in this room and
They know
going
that.
through trainings. We want to be here. We want to contribute.
They feel it, especially give them some details of, yeah, so they're paid like slave wages or no wages. And like, why are they doing this? They want to learn, they want the experience. I mean, why did you become an RA? They get kind of excited about that. They know what's going on. How can they be sure that these guys are really going to deliver $4,000 worth of stuff? And they're so inexperienced. Can I say that? And I'm experienced. Can I give you a thought? They are not, these three are never going to use this phrase, and I'll talk more about it Wednesday. They're never going to use the phrase, we think. We think this. We think the market is this. We think these potential clients are this. We think your competitors are doing this. You know what they're going to say? The data shows your competitors are doing this. The data shows potential clients say this. The data shows the market's like this. You cannot dispute that. Whether they have gray hair or they're little babies handing it to you. If it's data backed, done, right? And if I come and say we think, they're ready to go, oh, I care about that dumb guy. And these guys say, we have data. The data shows. Done. So these guys can be more powerful than an old gray consultant when they walk in and say, I got data. I got data that shows. So they can just stand behind the data, whatever age or situation they are. She keeps bragging down that she's like political science. So what? She was great. She said, this data shows. I don't think they cared if she was biology or whatever, law. That's a terrible major. You know, here I am. I got data. So that's what they'll do. Confident? Yep. So you'll basically contract to provide data and to analyze it, and you will.